Hi everybody, welcome to the 2024 Medicare webinar. My name is Jackson Edwards and I'm the founder of a company called Medicare Nationwide, and you can check us out at medicarenationwide.com. We're an independent agency licensed with all the major and not so major carriers. I've been licensed since 2012, been doing this a long time, strictly in the Medicare space, and I'm excited to talk about this webinar today. This is going to be a little bit shorter than normal. The other ones kind of ran on a little bit long, so I'm going to try to condense that information a little bit. The flow will go as follows. We're going to talk about the Medicare Part A, which is your hospital coverage, Medicare Part B, which is basically everything that happens outside of the hospital. There's a little bit of Part B if you're admitted as well. Then we'll look at the Medicare Supplement chart that ranges from letters A through N. We'll talk about the differences between Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplements and which one might be right for you. And then I'm going to take you through actual companies and actual rates. I'm going to use a random zip code generator and punch in whatever zip code it gives me. And then I'll show you how I analyze carriers and plans and make recommendations based on a few different factors. So kind of like a scientific approach to which carrier we go with and why. So without further ado, let's kind of get right into it. What you're looking at here is the Medicare Part A chart of 2024. And then after this, we'll go into the Part B. So if you're admitted into the hospital, you have a deductible that you owe of $1,632. And this deductible goes up a little bit each year. So for 2023, the deductible was $1,600. And it goes up about that much every single year. The thing to note on this deductible is that it's not an annual deductible. So with some bad luck, you can hit the deductible multiple times in the year. And the way that works, you're admitted into the hospital, and then there's a counter that starts. So you'll see days 1 to 60. So that 1632 covers you for the first 60 days, which is pretty good coverage. So you'll owe that first 1,632, the counter starts. Now let's say you're discharged on day 5, and then another counter starts. You have 60 days after being discharged from the hospital to come back in without owing that deductible again. If it's been longer than 60 days, then you owe the deductible. So if you're readmitted into the hospital for the same or similar condition, your days pick up from where you left off. So, you were discharged on that 5th day, so then you come back in, it'll go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and kind of continue on. And it builds up. So let's say we've had a really unfortunate thing happen, and now we're in the hospital for 61 days or more. So from day 61 to 90, you have a set copay of $408 that you pay per day. So no matter what happens, you owe that exact amount per day. And this should say 91 to 150 right here. We'll have to make that correction. But 91 to 150, which is 60 days, those are lifetime reserve days. So if you're in the hospital for 91 days or more, you start to eat into these lifetime reserve days that cannot be used again. And the copay during those 60 days is $816 per day. And a lot of this sounds daunting, but most plans cover all of this you pay column, so you really don't have a lot to worry about, but it's nice to know what Medicare Part A covers so you can build the argument of why you're even getting a secondary to Medicare. So moving on, we'll look at skilled nursing. So after you've been admitted into the hospital and confined for at least 3 days or more, you can then go to a skilled nursing facility where you can do rehab and things like that. For days 1 to 20, you have a $0 copay. And then from days 21 to 100, you have a set copay of $204 per day. Hospice care, it's pretty much full coverage. You basically have no out-of-pocket expenses. You might have some co-payments here and there, but it's pretty good coverage for hospice care. And blood work, if you're receiving blood at the hospital, Medicare will pay 100% of the pints received after you paid for the first 3 pints. Okay, and you could have some Part B expenses in here as well. So medications that you might get, anesthesia and things like that could fall under Medicare Part B. So that's something to be mindful of as well. So going on to Medicare Part B, this is kind of the big stuff. This is like your lab fees, x-rays, MRIs, CAT scans, kidney dialysis, chemotherapy is the major one. Ambulance services. These are all Medicare Part B things. The thing that you want to remember is this deductible amount, because most plans that people are getting now, the deductible is not covered. So this is the number that you're kind of going to want to remember. Medicare sets this amount. Last year, the deductible was $226. This year, 2024, the deductible is $240. So when you go to the doctor your first visit every year, you're going to owe the first $240. After that, your Medicare then officially kicks in, and you have that classic 80-20 split. So, and this is of the Medicare approved amount. So the doctor can charge whatever they want to. Medicare is going to approve generally a smaller amount of that, and then you only owe 20% of that smaller amount. So there's plan codes for everything that you want to have done, whether it's an MRI, a CAT scan, no matter where you go, it's always the same code. Everything is the same pricing. And you owe 20% of that approved amount, which again is generally a lot smaller. Moving on to excess charges. A lot of you, or some of you may know that the plan N as in Nancy does not cover Part B excess charges. So most doctors that accept Medicare are contractually obligated to accept the price that Medicare approves. And that's called accepting Medicare assignment. But there's certain doctors that, like podiatrists are a notable one, that do not accept Medicare assignment, and they can charge a 15% above and beyond what Medicare approves. So let's say the Medicare approved amount was $1,000. That doctor can charge an additional $150 on top of that. And if your plan didn't cover Part B excess charges, you would owe that additional $150. I will say in my experience, it is rare to see Part B excess charges. You hardly ever see it. I've seen it a handful of times over the last decade. It's just rare to see. So keep that in mind. Lab services. Medicare is going to cover 100% of all your lab services. Keep in mind that there's always new lab services coming out, and sometimes it doesn't make their way into Medicare yet. You know, a new lab will come, new technology will come out, and it hasn't made its way to the Medicare formulary, if you will, to be considered approved. So a lot of times when clients say, I have to pay for this, I almost always go to, oh, okay, that's probably a new lab technique that was used, and that's why it's not covered yet. So that's something that maybe you want to ask your doctor, or if you go to Quest or something like that, say, hey, is this a Medicare approved lab test that you're doing? And then they can tell you right then and there. So blood work, if you're receiving blood, you would pay for the first 3 pints of blood received, and then 80% per pint thereafter. Home health care, this is not a long-term care plan. This is not like a live-in nurse or anything like that. This is almost like a prescription. So let's say you had a surgery at the hospital or something like that. The doctor will write a script, and you have home health care for X amount of time, where a nurse will come to your house, bandage you up, do a little physical therapy, and then they're out the door. That's 100% approved, but you would owe 20% for durable medical equipment, wheelchairs, walkers, things like that. And anything outpatient, like if you go to the ER, it's based on outpatient payment rates. Just expect to owe 20% of the approved amount for anything that's outpatient. Okay, so again, the only thing to really note here, because a lot of this stuff is covered by the supplements, is that $240. When you receive your EOB, your explanation of benefits in the mail, it's going to say your plan did not cover this, you owe this. So you'll get that bill in the mail every year for that $240. Okay, so now we can move on to the Medicare Supplement chart. And we'll take a look here. This is from the Medicare guidebook. Zoom in a little bit here. And these are, you'll see these everywhere. You know, they're all the same. It says 2023, but there's only a slight change on this Plan K and L. This has gone up a little bit, these out-of-pocket limits. And it's nothing really to worry about here. Nobody really has the K or the L. And if you do, we can maybe talk about that by phone and go over those out-of-pocket amounts. So this is a federally standardized chart that we're looking at, meaning a Plan F with one company is exactly the same as a Plan F with another. With any one of these supplement plan letters, Medicare remains your primary, which in my opinion is the most important thing that you can do, is keeping Medicare as your primary. When you're going with a plan, you want to ask, am I giving up Medicare to go with this plan? So a Plan G with United Healthcare is exactly the same as a Plan G with Blue Cross. Medicare is your primary. This is your secondary. Whatever Medicare approves, the secondary must pay. There's no denying claims or anything like that. It's all, for the most part, depending on the carrier, it's all automatic claims filing. You go to the doctor, hand them your Medicare card, hand them your Medicare Plan G or F or N card, and all the stuff happens on the back end automatically. It's a set it and forget it, easy. And they're accepted by all Medicare doctors nationwide. So the two most popular plans now are the Plan G and the Plan N. The Plan F was phased out. So if your Medicare started January 1st, 2020 or later, then you can no longer get the Plan F. It is important to talk about because a lot of people still have the Plan F from before. So the thing about the Plan F is it's the full coverage. Everything's 100% here, right? All the hundreds, and all these things on the left are matching up with the Medicare Supplement chart that we just went over. So the Part A hospital deductible, Part B deductible, it's all matching up. So these are the gaps that Medicare doesn't cover. That's why they call it a Medigap policy, or Medicare Supplement. It's the same thing. So the Plan F was the most comprehensive plan. It was the best plan that you can get. But now anybody that's turning 65 now cannot get the Plan F. And that's all that younger business that's keeping the premium stable. They're coming in a little healthier. They're not going to the doctor as often, but they're still paying their premiums, and it's offsetting the higher claims of the older population, keeping the rate stable. But now the pool of people that have the Plan F are getting older. That pool is getting smaller. They're going to the doctor more frequently. They're driving up the claims, and in turn, the premiums are going up as well. So the Plan F is the highest rate increase plan of any plan. So if you have the Plan F, it's really important to try to get out of it. If you can still qualify medically, you want to get out of the Plan F because you are overpaying big time for it. The Plan G is now the new most popular plan. The N is kind of making its way up there too. And the only thing the Plan G doesn't cover is the Part B deductible, which again is $240. So other than that, the Plan G is 100% identical to the Plan F. On an annual basis, the only difference between the two plans is $240. And the Plan F is typically $500 more per year than the Plan G. So not only are you literally paying more for it on an annual basis, but you're having high rate increases as well. So things are only getting worse for those on the Plan F. The Plan N is it's more stable than the Plan G, and in some states the premium is significantly smaller. Sometimes it's like $40-50 less per month than the Plan G. So people are gravitating towards it. A lot of people have that fear of Part B excess charges because the Plan N does not cover it. So they kind of steer away from it. But with Part B excess charges being so rare, if the Plan N is significantly cheaper, I like that option for people. It's a more stable plan because the more out of pocket you have, the more stable it is. And it's going to become the new G, in my opinion, over the next few years. So we'll see if that works out. So it also doesn't cover the Part B deductible. So you have to pay the first $240. It doesn't cover the Part B excess charges. And then with the Plan N, you also have $20 copays when you go to the doctor. So no matter what's done, it can be an MRI, CAT scan, chemotherapy, no matter what's done at that visit, they're only going to charge you $20 at a maximum. And you don't pay the $20 for physical therapy. So that would be something that would really drive up the cost. You have physical therapy 3 to 4 times a week, 20. That would be a thing. But since physical therapy, they don't charge the $20 copay, you don't have to worry about that. And then there was another plan called the High Deductible Plan G. That's why it has this little asterisk here. So we'll kind of just read this together. Plan F and G also have a high deductible plan in some states, most states. With this option, you first pay for the Medicare covered costs up to a deductible amount of $2,800 in 2024. If you look me up on YouTube in I have a high deductible Plan G video for YouTube, and it's the most viewed video for the high deductible Plan G, and it's me praising the high deductible Plan G. When the high deductible F was still around, that got phased out too with the regular Plan F. I offered that plan to everybody. I have so many clients with that plan, and then the HDG was also great, but then the deductible went up about $400 in 2023. 2024 went up another $100. So now I just can't in good faith offer the high deductible Plan G anymore. It was a low premium plan, like $58, $60 per month. And if you did the out of pocket per year on the Plan G versus the high deductible Plan G, the HDG won out, or if it was about exactly the same. So you have this lower premium plan, about $60 per month. That's your fixed cost. And then you would owe 20% every time you went to the doctor. So if it was a $100 visit, you would pay that 20%, you would pay that $20, and it would eat away at the deductible of $2,800. You would constantly chip away at it. So it's like having a regular Plan G, but you get to pay as you go. You can watch my video on YouTube to get a more in-depth explanation, but it was a great option for healthy people. But now, if this deductible keeps trending upward the way that it is, you're 65 years old, you get the high deductible Plan G. Let's say you're 80 years old now, and the deductible is now $5,500 or $6,000, and you have some kind of health condition, so you can't change out of it. Now you're paying this huge deductible every year. In my opinion, it's not worth risking being stuck with it and having to pay a huge out-of-pocket expense every year when you're like 70, 75. So in my opinion, I would pay a little bit more for the regular Plan G and invest in your older self, if you will. You know, your 75-year-old self's talking to your 65-year-old self, why'd you do this to me? Why do you give me this huge deductible? I like to split myself in two people sometimes and think about the older version of myself. And what would that person want? I think that person would not want to have to deal with a huge deductible every year. So that's my opinion on that. But ultimately, it's your choice. So let's go into some actual rates now. And here we just have a random zip code generator. So I'll just hit rerun here, and we'll look at 2 or 3 states. So Illinois is a good one. Let's take the 60466, and I'll punch this into our software. This is called CSG Actuarial. It's a great tool that a lot of agents use. It has everything you need to make an informed decision. So I'll just load up this zip code. We've got a female 65, and I'll literally walk you through this and kind of tell you how I would look at this. So first of all, you can kind of just scroll through a little bit here since this is everybody's first time seeing this. We got Allstate. Let's try to find some names here. AARP is right here at 122. This is the Plan G now, the most popular plan. Got Humana at 127, Blue Cross at 127, Mutual of Omaha at 128. Here's AARP's level 2 rate. If you're a little bit unhealthy, you can get a level 2 rate. So let's expand these quotes and we'll open up market analytics. So here are the 4 things that you need to consider when shopping for a Medicare supplement. Obviously, the premium is one. I wouldn't even put that in the top spot, but that's one. The rating of the company. There's 2 companies that rate Medicare supplements. You can see that here. It's AM Best and S&P, which is Standard & Poor's. That can tell you more than any agent ever could. These companies go in, they look at their claims loss ratio, how quickly they pay claims, their customer service, everything, and they give them a rating. So that should be a powerful or high up on the hierarchy of your decision making. You know, me saying one thing and that rating is, that should have a lot more weight. So the rating of the company, how long they've been in the market, and their average rate increase history. So how much they go up over time. If you're in an attained aged rated state, that means you have an age increase and an overall increase. So it goes up every year as you get older. You're a little bit older, your risk is higher, your rates reflect that higher risk. So Allstate is kind of new to the market. They are A+ rated. They generally have the lowest premiums everywhere. And this is kind of a common theme. You'll see a kind of a new carrier to the market, kind of undercuts the competition. And then they finally start to get some claims on the books, and you kind of ultimately see where that rate's going to land. I have high hopes for Allstate. I think they're a great company. They've been really nice to work with. And I think they're going to make a big dent in the Medicare market. So we'll see if that proves to be true. I try to stick with A+ rated companies or better. That's what I prefer. You'll see a lot of these smaller companies here. A lot of them have been in the market for 1 year. Here's this ACE. Here's Medico. They have an A rating. They used to have a B+ rating. I guess they've gone up here, so that's good. Been in the market 6 years. Manhattan Life has a B++ rating. And let me just tell you, when you get into the B+ rated companies, you know it. You call the customer service line, and it's like a customer service line that's managing several different carriers, so to speak. Like they've hired a third party, so it's not their own in-house. They might hire another company to pay claims for them. You just feel the experience difference when it's not an A+ rated company. Let me just go down to AARP and Omaha, because those are 2 really big carriers. So here's United Healthcare. They have an average increase of 5.1%. With them, you'll see that they're community rated. They're one of the only community rated companies that you're going to find in an attained age rated state. So they only have the 1 increase because they'll pool like genders together or ages together into one pool, so they don't have that age increase. They're AA- rated for S&P, which is higher than A+. They're a fantastic company. I enjoy working with them. And then there's, let's go down to Mutual of Omaha lastly. Here's Blue Cross, a solid carrier, AA- as well, been in the market since Medicare started in 1966. Here's Mutual of Omaha, been there for 11 years, A+ rated, and pretty stable rates overall. So these are the kind of things you want to look at to make an informed decision on your Medicare supplement. You want to take all these things into consideration and then choose the best one based on that. So let's have another look at the Plan N and see how that stacks up in this state. So we got the Plan G at 114 is the lowest, and then we'll see what the lowest is for the Plan N. And here we see 85. So you see it's here it's about $30 cheaper per month. Here's United Healthcare at 87. See, I like the Plan N here. This Plan N with United Healthcare Illinois, that's a solid option. Really low premium, really stable rates. Again, you're going to find that Plan N to be more stable than the Plan G. Really like this. household discount of 15%. So if you and a spouse took it, 15% off. That's really nice. So let's pull up a calculator. And we'll just take we'll take the 114 of the G, subtract the 87, we'll call it, of the N. You get a $27 savings per month, or $324 savings per year. So that's apples to apples. You have to pay the Part B deductible on both plans. So let's say you went to the doctor. So we divide that by 20, which is our copay amount that we have to pay on the end. You would have to go to the doctor 16 times to lose money on the plan N. So that's something that's something I would present to the clients. Say, here's the plan G, here's the plan N. Which one might be which one might be right for you, and kind of maybe let you decide on that one. So I guess that's enough comparing. You're going to find similar results throughout the company, throughout the country. And I'll try to keep this a little bit shorter. So let me move on from this, and then let's talk about Medicare supplements versus Medicare Advantage now. Let's pull that up. So here's a Medicare supplement versus Medicare Advantage chart. And for anybody that stays to like 90% of this webinar, we're going to automatically send you the all the charts that you've seen here, so you don't have to worry too much about writing all this down. We'll send these to you automatically. So let's compare Medicare supplements and Medicare Advantage. Again, the most important thing that you can do, in my opinion, is keep Medicare as your primary. You've paid into Medicare your entire life, thousands and thousands of dollars. Everybody does. It's a well-funded system. Most doctors throughout the companies accept it. And then you turn 65 and you do something like go into like a Medicare Advantage plan where you're literally giving up original Medicare and signing away your rights to a Medicare Advantage plan. Now they're managing your plan, no longer Medicare. Paid into Medicare your whole life, turn 65, and boom, you give it up after all that. So now if you go into an Advantage plan, you have to go to their hospitals, their doctors, you need referrals for specialists, approvals for procedures. Now, these Advantage plans get a set amount of money per person Medicare gives them a set amount of money to work with per person that's enrolled. So they have this budget that they have to contend with. That makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to be in a plan that is dictated by how much funding there is in the plan. If I want to get something done, I want to be able to go where I want to, when I want to. If I were to get cancer or have kidney dialysis or something like that, you want to be able to go to any facility you want to. You want to be able to get second and third opinions. You don't want to have to go to a primary care specialist first and then get referred out 2 weeks when you have this, maybe life-threatening illness. So, they say you get a flex card, you get dental, you get vision, hearing. They offer you these small little things and distract you from what's most important. If you were to have cancer or some kind of huge ailment, who cares about your vision plan? Who cares about your dental plan? That's not going to help you. What's going to help you is the insurance that you have. And if you have some kind of life-threatening thing happening, without a doubt, you would want a Medicare supplement. You would want Medicare as your primary and to have no hassles. So try not to get distracted by these small dental and vision plans. These are cheap plans. You can get a dental plan for like $8 a month. You can get a vision plan for $6 a month. These are small little things that they're offering because most people don't even use it anyway, so it's nothing for them to offer it. So I guess summarizing this chart, it's my philosophy that you should keep Medicare as your primary, get a Medicare supplement like a G or an N, and not give up your Medicare. We also have to get into Medicare Part D, the drug plans, which I won't get into in this video. But when you have a Medicare supplement, you have to pick up a standalone prescription drug plan. There's about 20 plus plans per given state. And we would put your medications into the Medicare system and see which plan is right for you. I have several videos of that on YouTube. One of the arguments people will make is that Medicare Advantage plans include prescription drugs. Well, it just acts as a drug plan. You still have copays that you have to pay. So it doesn't pay for your medications. It's bundled in. But now you're at the mercy of how your medications match up with that formulary that you're on. Where if you have Medicare Supplement and a standalone Part D prescription drug plan, you now have 20 plus plans to choose from. And if you do it correctly through the Medicare website, which if you end up speaking with us, we can do this for you. There are 0 premium plans in 2024 now, and there's 50-cent plans in 2024. So that's not even an argument anymore, which is great. So I hope you found this webinar informative. If you'd like to work with us, please give us a call. You can see the number on the screen here. We'd love to work with you. You can also click this screen here that's popping up, and it'll take you to a link on our calendar. And you can set an appointment with us, and we can go over your options. We can look at your age, your zip code, your budget, do all the shopping that we just did, and see which plan might be right for you. And more importantly, we offer world-class customer service. It's easy to get a hold of us. We call back quickly. We reach out to you when there's a rate increase. We shop coverage when necessary. There are several states that have birthday rules to where you can change a Medicare supplement at a certain time. We notify you of when that time is in case we want to save a little bit of money. We reach out to you every year to reshop your drug plan. We have really, really high customer service. Our 5-star rating kind of speaks for itself. We've been doing this a long time. We're very tight and organized. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, again, please click the link, set an appointment with us, and we'd love to chat with you more. Hope you found this informative. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.